Elisha Cuthbert has spent decades in the spotlight, building a career that balances mainstream popularity, genre work, and a reputation for being one of the most recognizable faces to emerge from early 2000s Hollywood. Whenever headlines promise photos that shocked everyone, they usually say more about the appetite of celebrity culture than about the performer herself. Cuthbert's rise began in Canada, where she worked as a child host before transitioning into acting, and by the time international audiences discovered her, she already had years of professional experience behind her. That foundation helped her navigate the intense attention that came with sudden fame, especially once magazines and entertainment sites began packaging every red carpet pose or film still as something scandalous. Much of the fixation traces back to her breakthrough period. Television viewers remember her as Kim Bauer in the hit thriller series 24, a role that placed her in millions of living rooms each week and turned her into a household name. Around the same time, comedies and dramas marketed her as a new kind of Hollywood star, approachable, funny, and camera-ready. Publicity machines of that era leaned heavily on glamour, often amplifying the most provocative wardrobe moments to grab clicks. In retrospect, many of those images feel tame, but at the time they fueled endless chatter, countdown lists, and tabloid covers proclaiming outrage or amazement. What is often forgotten is how carefully crafted many of those moments were. Film scenes are built through lighting, editing, and narrative context. Photo shoots are collaborations between stylists, photographers, and publications. Yet the conversation regularly reduced Cuthbert to a single frame, detaching it from the work she was doing as an actor. She continued to take on varied projects, from romantic comedies to darker independent features, while also trying her hand at television sitcoms that showed off her comedic timing. That range demonstrated longevity, something far more difficult to achieve than a brief spike of viral attention. Another interesting layer is how audience attitudes have evolved. Today, discussions around celebrity imagery are more likely to question why certain marketing angles were pushed so aggressively in the first place. Viewers recognize that actresses frequently had little control over how their bodies were used to sell tickets or magazines. Looking back at Cuthbert's most talked-about pictures becomes an opportunity to re-examine an industry era rather than to pass judgment on the person at its center. Instead of shock, many fans now feel nostalgia, remembering how those films and shows fit into their own lives. Through it all, Cuthbert has maintained a relatively private personal world, focusing on family and selective professional appearances. She still attends events, still greets photographers with the poise that made her famous, and still attracts headlines whenever an old image begins circulating again online. The difference is that her career can now be seen in full, not just as a collection of sensational captions, but as a sustained body of work shaped by talent, timing, and resilience in a media environment that rarely slows down.